All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Berns Galang or Berns, and I'm so happy to welcome you to our show, Caring for Your Pet. And this is where you can learn more about how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. Now, if you ever loved a cat and if you've ever spent time with one, I think this is perfect for you. Our guest for today is Shawn Flynn. He is the author of the book The Kitty Who Rescued Me After I Rescued Him. It has won several literary awards, including first place in the Top Shelf Magazine's 2018 Book Awards in three categories, including Animals or Pets, Novella, and Relationships Nonfiction. Shawn Flynn has spent over 25 years in the marketing research, and that's before he stepped away to pursue his passion for writing. And he knew he just really wanted to explore his deep connection with cats, especially the first cat that he has ever rescued. And he's also a professional member of the Cat Writers Association, and he also volunteers with several cat rescue groups. And yeah, so without further ado, let's welcome Shawn. Hi, Shawn.
Hey, Berns, how are you? Thanks for including me in your event.
Yeah, happy to have you here in our show. Thank you for
Happy to be here.
yeah. So can you share with us your journey and how you were able to write your debut book, The Kitty?
Sure. Well, I've always had this story in the back of my head for years about the relationships I have with my cats and my other pets. And I just got to a point where, I wanted to share some of those thoughts. And I put together my original manuscript and I shared it with some friends and family members. And they were all touched by it. And they thought that I should go ahead and see about trying to make it into a book. So that's what I did.
Wonderful. And how did the Kitty inspire you or help you in your journey?
Well, I met him when I moved to the house that I currently live in. He was living in the backyard, and according to my next door neighbor, he had been living in the backyard for 2 or 3 years. So the house had been abandoned for about a year before I moved in. The former owner moved out and then made some home improvements and stuff and fixed it up. And it took him about a year. So the house was empty for about a year. And Kitty, I imagine, one of the neighbors might have been feeding him, but he was also a real good mouser. He could catch mice real well. And so, he just fended for himself. He had clearly been someone's pet. He wasn't a feral cat.
Okay.
So he'd clearly been someone's pet at some point. But, I met him when I moved into my home, and, he was real friendly and would hang out with me on the back porch in the evenings after work. And, I started feeding him on the back porch. And that fall, when it started really getting cold out, I installed one of those two-way swinging pet doors so that he could have a place to stay in the garage. I put a big pillow in the corner next to a bowl of food and a bowl of water. And he was in the garage every morning when I left to go to work. But, it's a real nice story. And, I just wanted to share that with people. And, so far it's doing real well. I've gotten some great feedback about it. I originally published it in 2017. And, I spent most all marketing it up until the pandemic hit a couple of years ago. And unfortunately, after that, they cancel all events and things like that.
Wonderful. That's an interesting story, actually. And sounds to me that your cat is really just waiting for you. It's like one of those serendipities and rendezvous that really just took place. Like it was really meant to be for you to meet. And then.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And which makes me curious. What do you think makes up or constitute a good story?
Well, you got to have a good opener. You got to open with a real strong statement. You have to have a good story to begin with. So, you have to, it's got to be a story that people are interested in. And then you have to have a real good closing. And that's, what I found makes a real good story.
Right. Yeah. When it comes to a structure like that, we really need to follow a formula. But what's interesting is you already had an experience, and your own story is what you brought the book into life. So, yeah, and most of the time are some things that are of value to us may not be of value to others, but other times it could be the same. And that's really what intrigues me and what happened in your journey because you've mentioned that it's really your own story and you had no plans in publishing it at first, right?
Yes, correct.
So yeah, it's really very interesting how it came about. And what do you think is the very thing or the element in your book that really just connects or resonates with a lot of people who are touched by it?
Well, I wasn't a cat person until I met Kitty. Not that I didn't like cats, I just didn't have any experience with them or little experience with them. And you know, the relationship that Kitty and I developed over the course of several months, and you know, the bond in that relationship is just, you know, really touching. It's touched a lot of people's hearts.
Wonderful. It's amazing how an animal can really touch our lives and really just change us and become better persons. And
Oh, absolutely, I agree.
yeah, and you started before in marketing. You were in marketing like 25 years. And then is this what shifted your career?
I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
Sorry, since you've spent 25 years in marketing, is this some sort of a pivot that happened when you had written the story about Kitty?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he inspired me to put together my story, you know, share it with others, and certainly, you know, after I realized how favorably it was received by so many people, you know, I wanted to pursue promoting it and marketing it and you know, things like that. So I've gone to a lot of cat shows up until a couple of years ago. I used to go to cat shows just about every weekend. I traveled, you know, all over the northeast east United States, and you know, just about every weekend I was doing something at a cat show or a festival or something like that.
Wonderful. But have you ever been really passionate in writing at a young age?
Oh, I've written my whole adult life. You know, back when I worked in corporate America, I wrote a lot of boring research reports and technical documents, things like that. But this is the first time I've written something really that came from my heart. And that's why, you know, I think a lot of people have been so receptive to the story.
Oh, wonderful. That's very inspiring. And yeah, maybe it's really the key to it. If it's really from your heart and that it's really what would make people naturally gravitate towards it. And yeah, it looks like you're making a lot of difference in a lot of pet owners' lives, especially cat owners.
I've been told that I've inspired dog people to get a cat.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, wow. That's that's great. And wow. And yeah, cats are really awesome. And of course, dogs as well. But cats are really, they're very unique. And compared to other animals like dogs, they really have unique characteristics. And what are your thoughts about the unique behaviors of cats based on what you have experienced?
Well, cats all certainly have their own unique personalities. We actually have five cats. Currently, we have five cats and a dog. And you know, as I mentioned, you know, the cats all have their own unique personalities. Some are a little naughtier than others. Some are, you know, a little more affectionate than others. But you know, you know, I love them all. We certainly love our cats and love our pets and take very good care of them. Spend a lot of money on them, a lot of time cleaning up after them, and things like that.
Yeah, but it makes your heart full, I suppose, because yeah, I can
Oh,
really relate. I have
Yes.
7 cats that I'm taking care of with me. Although they're not really my cats. I'm taking care of them for a friend, but from the day they were born, I've been caring for them and I'm doing my best. I'm not the perfect pet parent, but their presence really just brings me so much joy, and I learn a lot from them, and there's really so much to be grateful for, even if sometimes I see them making a lot of mess and still feel so much love for them, even if they do a lot of stuff that gives me extra chores. So yeah, it's really something special to have them around.
I
And
agree.
yeah, and I'm curious though, how is it daunting to embark in the world of self-publishing? Because you self-publish your books, right?
Correct.
All right. Is it daunting, or what are the perks of self-publishing compared to the traditional route?
Well, traditional publishing, first of all, you're not guaranteed that a publisher is going to pick up your book. You
Right.
typically have to go out and you have to get an agent, and then the agent pitches your book to the publishing houses. And typically, unless you're someone who's famous or a celebrity or someone who is like a top doctor in your field who's writing a book about health and nutrition or something, it's a publisher's not going to pick up your book. If you're just a no-name nobody, a publisher's not going to pick it up. So I certainly learned a lot about self-publishing when I took on this endeavor. And there's a ton of resources on the internet for people who self-publish. And certainly with computers and modern day technology, you can do all the technical stuff yourself at home, sitting in front of your computer, and you use the resources on the internet to actually publish it.
Right. Okay. And actually, it seems kind of daunting at first because I'm actually thinking of trying to embark in the same journey, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure things out. But what advice can you give to aspiring authors or writers out there who might want to publish a book?
Do as much research as you can, before you start. I would say be careful and weary of internet scams. There's a lot of people out there who say that they're a publishing house, and then they charge thousands and thousands of dollars, and they say they're going to publish your book and they're going to market and promote it, and you're going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. And that's just not the case. So they take your money, they publish your book, they give you a minimum amount of money back from that. You'll get to keep all the money you make yourself if you publish it yourself. But it's very important. You have to buy your own ISBN number, because if you use an ISBN number that's owned by someone else, like a publisher, then they will own the distribution rights to your book. If you purchase your own ISBN number, then you'll own the distribution rights to your book.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that with us. And yeah, it just goes to show that there's really so much control when you do the self-publishing route. And yeah, thank you for your expert advice. And it's great to have an expert author on our side. Yeah, and I'm curious about the Cat Writers Association. Can you tell us something about it?
Sure. It's a group of people who basically write either books or magazine columns, or produce other kinds of creative stuff about cats. Like, it's not just cat letters, but people who do cat photography or cat cartoons or stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's basically a group of people. You can't join. You submit an application and you submit your work, and they evaluate it. And if they think you're worthy of being in the group, in the organization, then they grant you membership.
I
So
see.
it's kind of some could say it's kind of like an elite type organization among people who are enthusiastic about their cats and who like to write about cats and document their experiences and stuff like that.
Right, fascinating. And since we've been talking about literary works and cats, um, um, this just makes me curious though. What do you think is the value or the impact that cats bring as characters in a literary work compared to a human character?
Mm, not quite sure how to answer that. Um, Certainly, cats. I think cats help to make us better people. I mean, you can write about a cat, in a book, or document your thoughts and experiences about relationships you have with, not only cats but any kind of pet. So, I mean, just as you would write about, one of your friends or one of your family members. I mean, in my opinion, my cats are my family members.
Right, of course. Yeah. And yeah, based on your experiences, how can pet parents or cat parents be the key to their cat's happiness?
Well, you have to focus on taking care. Owning any pet is a lot of work. So I'm constantly cleaning litter boxes and feeding them. And just yesterday, I had to take one of my cats, Tigger. He has a heart condition, so every 6 months he has to go to a cardiologist, and it's actually out of state. It's a specialty cardiologist, pet cardiologist, and it's about an hour drive away. So, I spend a lot of money on my cats to, make sure they're healthy, make sure they're well taken care of, and, make sure they're happy. And they, all my cats love their home. They love their home, and they love me and their mom.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's beautiful, and then it really goes to show how committed you are to them because it's really we're really here for them from the moment they're born until it's really an honor to see them in their life stages, and yeah, it's happy cats, happy owners.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, and how do you feel about when you see your work being brought out in the world and you get feedback from people who has been touched by your writing? How do you feel about that?
Oh, it touches me. I mean, I've had people who have read my book come up to me at cat shows or other events, and they've actually given me a hug. So they were touched by my story, and I received emails and messages through social media from people who have really been inspired by my book.
Wonderful. And yeah, and it's really a beautiful thing to see people like you living your passions and making a difference in the world. It's not everyone can discover that, and yeah, it's really fascinating that you're able to discover that and follow through with that, and yeah, with the help of the kitty.
It's a lot of work, as I mentioned earlier. It's a lot of work, and it requires a lot of resources, but it really warms my heart.
Yeah, that's where the fulfillment comes in. And if you just really follow through with that, it's really gonna move you forward, and you get surprises along the way. All right, and you're volunteering in cat rescue groups. Can you share with us about what you do in making a difference in this form of avenue?
Sure. Well, one of the cat rescue groups I work with is called Enfield Community Cat Project, and they have several feral cat colonies that they care for. They're constantly rescuing stray and abandoned cats, and then getting them medical treatment, and then helping to get them placed in a home somewhere. I help them. As such, that requires a lot of resources, and I help them with their marketing and promotional efforts. They have fundraisers and to raise money to help pay for vet visits and things like that. So I help them with their marketing and promotional activities.
Wonderful. And I guess you really can do something to make a difference. So you're not only an author, you're also using your skills in marketing to help these rescue centers.
Absolutely.
Right. And do you have any final thoughts or anything that you want to leave our audience that you think is important?
Well, if anyone gets a chance to check out my book, The Kitty Who Rescued Me After I Rescued Him, I would love to hear what you think. I can be reached via email at shawnpflynn@yahoo.com, and that's one word, SHAWNP as in Paul, FLYNN, and that's at yahoo.com. If someone wants to reach out to me on Facebook, my handle is just Shawn Flynn, and my avatar is me with a black and white cat. Or they can reach out to my author page, shawnflynn.author. And as I mentioned, if someone wants to check out my book, I'd love to hear what you think. It's available on Amazon.com worldwide. It's also available through Barnes & Noble, which is the largest book retailer here in the US, but it's available from, internationally from most book sales companies.
Awesome. All right. We're going to post the links in our page and in our email. So watch out for that. And yeah, thank you so much, Shawn, for being here with us and for sharing your experiences, sharing your thoughts, and for sharing your heart with us. I appreciate it so much. And
thank you, Berns. I certainly appreciate you including me in your event.
It's an honor. Yeah, and you guys in the audience, I hope this show has provided value for you, and I hope that you learn more about how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. And I wish you so much love and so much happiness with your cats. And yeah, we'll see you around for updates and for future events. So bye for now, and lots of love. Bye-bye.